Right now, Wisconsin Republicans are threatening to impeach embattled Judge Hannah Dugan.
And we're tracking a few flurries and a little bit of mixed precipitation that's struggling to make it to the ground. I'll show you on Radar 3000 where those snow showers and that mixed precipitation is trying to set up.
Plus, we are getting the background and what's next after the implosion of Blackhawk Bridge. Good morning, happy Saturday, and thanks for waking up with us this weekend. I'm Michelle Renee Quinn.
And I'm Chief Meteorologist Alex Harrington filling in for our friend Jacob this morning on a chilly start to the day, but not as cold as what we've been experiencing the past couple mornings.
Yeah, honestly, this is welcome compared to last weekend.
Yeah, last weekend, well, we can push that to the side.
Yes, we can.
But I got to be the realist. We do have one more cold day in the forecast. Okay. Before we really make a warm up. But we have a little bit of mixed precipitation out there right now. I want to chat about that. It looks like if you've got on the First One weather app that it's snowing outside, or that we may have a little bit of mixed precipitation in the form of freezing drizzle. And that stretches across all of south central Wisconsin, stretching from central Iowa County up to the west part of Madison, over to Belleville, down to Monroe. But the air is very, very dry. If you take a step outside, take a look at the clouds have this what are called virga look, meaning it looks like precipitation is falling from the clouds, but those clouds are struggling with that dry air in place, and we're seeing evaporation of some of this precipitation. So I don't think all of this is making it to the ground, but if it does make it to the ground, just be on the lookout. We could have a couple of slick spots. And of course, we have some friends up in La Crosse that tune in for our 8 o'clock show. They have a couple of snow showers to the north and west of the Black River Falls area, but it's all out of here. By the time we get to noon and we break into some sunshine with strong northwest winds building in later in the afternoon. And if you know the directions and winds and temperatures, that usually means colder weather is on the way to southern Wisconsin. Let's plan our day here. Again, that chance of a few snowflakes and a little freezing drizzle through about 10 o'clock, but then we break into sun and highs in the 30s. A little colder in La Crosse, temperatures in the upper 20s because the cold front coming through this morning into the early afternoon will usher in some of that colder air sooner towards our friends in La Crosse. Coming up in a little bit, I'll let you know when we can expect wind chills, as I was telling Michelle Renee, down to -10. They're in our future, but so is 50-degree weather, all coming up.
All right, thank you, Alex. We'll be checking in very shortly. In more top stories this weekend, the first of the Epstein documents have been released by the Justice Department. Here's a live look at the Capitol, where some of the lawmakers who passed the bill requiring the release say the Trump administration is not complying with the law. As CBS Christian Benavides reports, not all records were made public, and there is concern from survivors about the amount of redactions.
Thousands of records related to Jeffrey Epstein were released ahead of a Friday deadline, but the Justice Department did not release all documents as required by law, and more than 550 pages were completely redacted.
At this point, what we need is a clear timeline of when the rest of the documents will be released, and an explanation for why they did not release all of them today.
The Justice Department says it is still going through all the files and will release them in a rolling basis. Redactions were made for personal information pertaining to victims, other private individuals, and to protect sensitive materials from disclosure. Epstein survivors, such as Charlene Rochard, were disappointed.
It's not sufficient. Transparency means timely, complete disclosure, not partial release or delay like we've had.
Another survivor, Annie Farmer, has been fighting years for the release of the records.
And a lot of effort and money and time put into redactions, not to protect victims, but to protect people in power.
Among the new documents, a photo appearing to show Prince Andrew laying across the laps of several women with Epstein co-conspirator Ghislaine Maxwell in the background. Multiple photos of former President Bill Clinton, who has denied any wrongdoing. Epstein's book of contacts containing President Trump's name, his late wife, and their daughter Ivanka. And a list of 250 young women listed as masseuses has their names hidden. Christian Benavides, CBS News.
Here are Friday's closing numbers. Wall Street ending the week in positive territory. The Dow Jones is up 158 points, the NASDAQ with a strong 301-point jump, and the S&P 500 adds 60. In state news, Wisconsin Republicans are threatening to impeach embattled Judge Hannah Dugan if she does not immediately resign. A jury found her guilty Thursday night of obstructing federal agents, which is a felony. The incident happened in April when ICE agents attempted to detain a man for alleged immigration violations. Judge Dugan was found not guilty of a lesser charge of concealing a person from arrest. Prosecutors say Judge Dugan is not evil or a martyr, while the defense is looking to appeal the decision.
It was a criminal case like many that make their way through this courthouse every day, and we all must accept the verdict peacefully.
I would just say the case is a long way from over.
Judge Dugan faces up to 5 years in prison for the felony conviction. No sentencing date has been set. A new bipartisan bill introduced would roll back some restrictions on Wisconsin's wedding barns. In 2023, Act 73 was signed into law. It limits event venues like wedding barns to just 6 events per year where alcohol can be consumed, and only 1 event can be held per month. The new bill would raise the event limit to 36 per year and allow more than 1 event per month. Venues would also be able to allow alcohol consumption for a full 36 hours per event. That means couples could host their rehearsal dinner and reception at the same place. In more local news this morning, a DeForest teacher is representing Wisconsin at the Rose Parade on New Year's Day. Doug Hoft calls this a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. Now, he's one of 300 band directors selected to march in the parade, and Hoft says he was so surprised that at first he didn't think he would be selected. Once the news became official, he decided to use the parade as a practice what you preach moment.
This, for me, was a bit of a walk the walk moment and put myself out there a little bit and take that risk and do something a little bit outside my comfort zone and show them what I can do. And hopefully that inspires some kids to reach for some of their goals too.
Hoft also played for UW's marching band, but unfortunately he didn't get a chance to play during any of their Rose Bowl appearances. A nearly 100-year-old bridge over the Mississippi River between Iowa and Wisconsin was imploded yesterday. WKBT's Seth Padilla was there, and he brings us the history.
The iconic Blackhawk Bridge has been demolished after standing for nearly a century. In October, the decision was made to bring down the bridge for safety reasons. It was built in 1931. It connects Lansing, Iowa to Wisconsin. The bridge carried about 2,100 vehicles per day. Earlier, I spoke to the woman who pushed the implosion button.
This bridge is just part of the Lansing history here, and it's fun memories, me growing up, kind of coming in and out of Almaquis County. And, you know, I just love this place. I love the people, a lot of relatives here. It's a great community.
Again, despite the cold weather, a large crowd turned out to witness the implosion. Officials say the $140 million replacement bridge is expected to be in service by 2027. Project manager Clayton Burke spoke about the next steps with the bridge.
The contractor will block off the area while they remove the truss from the water this weekend. They should have enough removed to where it's safe to reopen a section of the channel for the ferry to operate.
The ferry should be operating on December 22nd. Reporting from Lansing, Seth Padilla, News 8 Now.
Thanks, Seth. Now, our Packers have been dealt a major blow with the loss of Micah Parsons, but they are gearing up to face the Chicago Bears today. News 3 Now's senior Packers writer Jason Wilde has the story.
Good morning, everybody from Chicago. The Packers getting ready for their matchup tonight with the Chicago Bears. First place in the NFC North is on the line, and if it feels like the Packers just played the Bears, it's because they did 13 days ago back in Green Bay at Lambeau Field. The Packers won that one 28-21, and if they can duplicate that performance, they will be in excellent playoff position. If the Bears win, they have the inside track for winning the NFC North. Matt LaFleur knows that the environment at Soldier Field tonight will be electric.
I think it's going to be electric. I'm sure they're going to have the big baritone national anthem guy out there and piping it away. I think it's going to be an unbelievable atmosphere. I think it's playoff football atmosphere, so it'll be fun.
We've got everything you need to get ready for tonight's game, and we'll have full coverage of tonight's game from here in Chicago on our website, channel3000.com. And while you're there, make sure you sign up for the Packers newsletter, which delivers that coverage directly to your inbox every single day. In Chicago for Packers Bears on game day, it's Jason Wilde, channel3000.com.
Thank you, Jason, and best of luck to our Packers today.
Indeed.
Some morning motivation for them and for the team now.
I will take the chance here at reading this quote. Hopefully I get it all right here. Competition makes us faster, but collaboration makes us better. And we were talking earlier, collaboration is key to doing anything team-oriented like the Packers.
Yes, so good luck to them and good luck to you this weekend. Collaborate, and we want you to be better. Still ahead on Weekend Mornings, Josh Breiter brings you your weekend events.
And I'll be back with the very latest first one weather forecast. Will we have any precipitation make it to the ground today? And when do we hit 50? That's coming up.
You're watching Weekend Mornings. Keep it here.
You're watching News 3 Now this morning. Moving forward.
Welcome back to Weekend Mornings. Now, if you're still looking for something fun, Josh Breiter is in the studio with your 608 weekend planner for the family.
Our 3 things to do this weekend in the 608 are certainly full of the holiday spirit. There is still time to light up your nights in Janesville. The 29th annual holiday light show at Rotary Botanical Gardens is shining brighter than ever. There are more than 2 million twinkling lights across 20 acres of festive displays. You can wander the illuminated paths, enjoy hot cocoa and carolers, and check out the new indoor Christmas market with artisan gifts and treats. Running through January 3rd, it's a magical, family-friendly tradition supporting the garden's mission and a must-see this holiday season. The Larson House Museum in McFarland is inviting the public to step back in time this holiday season with its annual Victorian Christmas. The free event runs every Sunday in December from 1 to 4, featuring guided tours, festive decor, and live holiday music. Visitors can warm up with complimentary hot drinks and cookies while enjoying a historic home decorated like a Victorian gingerbread house. Saturday is the final holiday market at the Monona Terrace. This is put on by the Dane County Farmers Market. Doors open at 7:30 in the morning. More than 65 local vendors will offer Wisconsin-grown produce, meats, cheeses, and baked goods. Don't forget those holiday favorites like wreaths, soaps, and candles. Cookbooks, merchandise, and gift certificates are also available. For more on what's happening this weekend in the 608, just go to channel3000.com. For In the 608, I'm Josh Breiter.
You know, I might have to head out if it's the last day for the holiday market.
I know. I
haven't been yet this year.
I haven't either, so better get at it.
Yeah, and it's not too bad outside today. Now, if people are headed out, how do they need to dress? Let them know.
They need bundle up for sure today. It's not the coldest of all days. We're going to get into the 30s, but it's still cool enough. You're going to need the jacket, the mittens, and the scarf because it's going to be windy today. I'm also tracking what looks like precipitation, meaning something is trying to fall from the sky out there on radar 3000. But there's a reason why it's not making it to the ground. So let me explain here. I'll head over to the big wall here. That light mix is possible today, and I emphasize possible because I think many areas are going to stay dry. And the reason why? It's dry outside, and that's eating away at that precipitation trying to fall to the ground. It will be much colder, though. I promise that on Sunday. I also promise you, like 99.9% sure that Christmas, we're going to have temperatures in the 40s to near 50. Here's what I mean on radar 3000. Dane County. Looks like we're just getting a lot of snow, some mixed precipitation across Dane County, areas out to the west towards Dodgeville and areas south and east towards Janesville. A lot of this is not making it to the ground because we have very dry air in place higher up. We have dry air in place close to the ground, I should say, up near Black River Falls. So as these snowflakes and as this freezing rain tries to fall through that dry atmosphere, it evaporates. So a lot of this is not making it to the ground across southern Wisconsin and our friends out towards La Crosse as well. Can't rule out a couple of isolated flurries and a little bit of freezing drizzle. If you do see that on your windshield wipers, just know that those roads could get a little bit on the slick side in a couple of areas, but not expecting major travel issues today. We break into sun. Strong northwest winds are going to usher in much colder temperatures as we go into tonight. Temperatures in the 30s for highs today. As I was just telling Michelle Renee, you'll need to dress warmly for sure. Off to the north and west, that's where the cold stuff's going to be coming in. Lows tomorrow morning as we wake up for brunch or for church between 5 to 6 to 7 to 8 degrees. So yeah, there we go again. Another Arctic plunge for Sunday morning with wind chills as cold as -10 to -15. Not quite the dangerously cold stuff, but that's cold enough in my opinion. Then the temperatures. Highs on Sunday, deceptively in the 20s. You'll look outside and be like, oh, it looks pretty nice out there. But we'll be on the cool side for this time of year. As we head out towards Christmas here, temperatures, no doubt, approaching near 50 degrees on Christmas Day. That snow's going to go bye-bye. Whatever we got out there, there'll be just a few little piles left over. I don't mean to kind of rub that in there for those that really want that snow. We'll get more snow yet this winter, but Santa knows how to work through these conditions. And La Crosse, very similar conditions. Temperatures in the 30s to the lower 40s even on Christmas Day itself, so the melting will continue up near the La Crosse area. And tomorrow, winter begins. 9:03 in the morning, direct sunlight right on the Tropic of Capricorn. We get those indirect rays of sunshine, and what this means, though, let's think positive. Our days are going to get longer and longer and longer after the solstice commences at 9:03 tomorrow morning. Michelle Renee?
Not just longer and longer, but brighter and brighter.
That's that too. Bring it on.
Thanks, Alex. Still ahead in your consumer news, why saving big money at Menards isn't quite the case. Plus, as always, Will Loper has the 3 things you need to watch. Stick with us. We're back in a bit.
You're watching News 3 Now this morning. Moving forward.
The home improvement store Menards will pay $4.25 million to 10 states in a settlement. Wisconsin is set to receive over $750,000 of that. Now, the settlement is for false advertising and price gouging, resolving claims that allege Menards deceptively marked its rebate program while gouging prices during the pandemic. That's by raising prices on 4-gallon bottles of purified water in Onalaska and Johnson Creek. And it's still unclear how states will be spending this settlement money. Let's check in now with Chief Meteorologist Alex Harrington live from our patio. How's it feeling out there?
Hey, Michelle Renee. It's just good I'm out here on the patio right now because we've been showing on radar 3000 that it looks like it's snowing or that we're having some form of precipitation. I can confirm out here on the patio there's just a little bit of ice pellet activity, very light, that's falling out here right now. Nonetheless, if it comes down a little bit heavier, there might be a couple of slick spots that develop on the sidewalks. I'm not expecting significant travel issues this morning, but just a heads up, a little bit of light mixed precipitation that is out there in radar 3000 that will continue for a little bit while longer before a cold front comes through this morning. Our friends tuning in by La Crosse, that has since moved on out. As we get into the afternoon, the sun's going to come out. The winds are going to get on the gusty side out of the north and out of the west, and that's going to usher in colder temperatures by the time we get into tonight. We'll do 35 in Madison today. The cold front will pass through, as I mentioned, and the sun will come out a little bit colder up towards La Crosse, but that front's going through La Crosse as we speak right now. When I come back in a little while and a little bit later in the newscast, I'm going to let you know when we can replace all the winter-like look and feel out here this morning with 50-degree weather, because that's around the corner. Back to you.
All right, thanks, Alex. There's clearly no shortage of films and shows streaming, and our Will Loper shares a few of the best in this weekend's 3 Things to Watch.
It's been 6 months and still no leads on the whereabouts of the escaped convict known as the Roofman.
Find a hideout with the 2025 film Roofman, newly streaming on Paramount+.
A manhunt tonight for an escaped prisoner.
Find a safe place to hide for a few months.
He's a very smart individual, super intelligent.
Based on real-life events, the movie stars Channing Tatum as a robber who hides out in a Toys R Us.
What exactly is it you plan on doing once we find your daddy?
Gonna bring him to justice. So people know that how they conduct themselves matters. They don't give up hope.
Head back to the wasteland with Fallout Season 2, newly streaming on Amazon Prime Video.
The stuff we fight for, story has it you used to believe in those things too.
Ella Purnell returns as Lucy, joined by the Ghoul, played by Walton Goggins, as they head to New Vegas to find Lucy's father.
It's my first day running the Rome office.
How will you get there?
I'm Roman now. I take the bus.
And head to Italy with Emily in Paris Season 5, newly streaming on Netflix.
If we're gonna open an office in Rome, let's really show the Italians how it's done.
Lily Collins is back as Emily, starting a new job in Italy.
I don't think my ideas are translating, but Rome wasn't built in a day.
And yet, it only took you 1 day to destroy it.
Those are the 3 things you need to watch, and this is Will Loper for Weekend Mornings.
Now, I'm a huge Fallout fan, so I can just retweet what Will is saying. Fallout, Fallout, Fallout. It's an amazing show. Definitely one of your 3 things to watch.
Something I'll have to watch yet this weekend. And back in from the patio, we do have a little bit of light freezing rain, a little bit of ice pellets falling from the sky out there. I'm not expecting major travel concerns, but just enough that you might have a slick spot or 2 this morning. So just want to let folks know, don't let your guard down this morning if you're out for a walk or driving to.
All right, well, thank you, Alex. And before we head to break, here is a look at last night's winning numbers. More Weekend Mornings is next. Don't go anywhere. Justice Department is suing Wisconsin, what the Elections Commission told them when they requested voting records.
And some very, very light mixed precipitation is falling across parts of southern Wisconsin. But I'm going to let you know after an Arctic blast, how warm will our temperatures get? I'll let you know in just a couple moments.
Plus, with your help, the Madison Reading Project far surpassed its goal this community book drive. The total's ahead. Well, hello, hello. Thanks for waking up with us today. I'm your weekend morning anchor, Michelle Renee Quinn.
And I'm Chief Meteorologist Alex Harrington. I'm filling in for our friend Jacob, who is taking a little time off to spend time with family and friends. Well-deserved and good time of the year to do that. Good morning.
Absolutely. Good morning. Today is Saturday, December 20th, and we've got a little bit of a wintry mix, you were saying, but it's not hitting the ground.
Some of it's not hitting the ground. And when I was just out on the patio, which was great that I was out there, I was able to verify just a couple little drops of freezing rain, a couple of ice pellets, but right now not enough that it would make a glaze. So it's very, very light. I'm going to keep a very close eye on that because it doesn't take much to cause some slick spots, even on the roadways if it doesn't do anything there. The sidewalks, got to be careful on sidewalks, especially those that haven't been treated with that flash freeze that we had a couple of days ago. So let's swing over to the big wall. I'm going to show you where is this precipitation right now on radar 3000. It looks like it's very widespread across Dane County areas towards the south and towards the west, towards Darlington, over towards Janesville. But again, it's very, very light. We have a lot of dry air in place. So as these drops fall through the atmosphere, as these snowflakes fall through the atmosphere, they evaporate. So not all of them are making it to the ground, which is good news because you don't want to have mixed precipitation make it to the ground and cause that glaze out there. And as I was mentioning, just out on the patio, there's not enough at this point to really even cause a glaze on area surfaces. But as we look across the Beltline right now, again, if you are just about ready to head out and you see any snowflakes or any of these drops, just know, keep in the back of your mind that there are a few areas of winter precipitation. And our friends up towards La Crosse, they tune in too. That precipitation has moved off towards the south and towards the east. And as we put future track into motion, it's all out of here. By the time we get to noon, the sun breaks out and we have northwest winds. They're going to bring in colder temperatures. Oh yes, we have an Arctic blast on the way. How cold will that blast be by the time we get to Sunday morning? When I come back in just a little while, I will let you know.
Thanks, Alex. We'll be checking in shortly.
Sounds good.
In top stories this week, Wisconsin joined the growing list of states being sued by the U.S. Department of Justice for refusing to hand over personal data of registered voters. The state's saying it's an invasion of privacy. The list would include personal information like driver's license numbers and partial social security numbers. An election expert told News 3 Now there's tension between state and federal laws on the issue. Our Maren Rosen spoke with the expert and has more.
22 states are being sued by the Department of Justice.
You're seeing the federal government trying to really take more control over this election process.
But Wisconsin law prohibits the State Elections Commission from providing a full unredacted voter registration list. And last week, the commission voted 5-1 to deny the request.
The states say that their privacy laws take precedent here. The Justice Department claims that a series of federal laws require states to provide this information to the Justice Department.
Election experts say the federal databases have inaccuracies, causing citizens to be flagged as non-citizens.
They are saying is they need access to this information in order to determine whether or not states are maintaining accurate rolls.
While Wisconsin is willing to provide non-confidential data or records to the DOJ, there are still concerns over privacy.
The second Trump administration, you've seen a full push or a really aggressive push by the Trump administration to expand federal control over the election administration. If a court order were to compel the state to turn over the data, I think that would present some data privacy concerns. One of the concerns about sharing this, anytime you share it, including with the federal government, is a risk that this data would be exposed or used improperly.
So far, there are 10 states that are working in compliance with the DOJ, but these lawsuits are not expected to be resolved by the 2026 midterm elections.
Marin, thank you. The White House is taking steps to lower the cost of some prescription drugs. President Trump announced 9 more pharmaceutical companies have agreed to implement what is known as most favored nation pricing, meaning what the United States pays for some drugs will match the lowest prices paid by other high-income countries. The president credited his tariff policy for getting the drug makers to the table. And he says so far 14 of the 17 pharmaceutical companies that have been asked to change their pricing have agreed. And a federal lawsuit over a deadly fire at a rental property in Necedah will head to trial. On June 30th, 2024, a fire at a home on Murrow's Mile Road left 6 people dead. A large group was renting the home through Airbnb, but the property was not legally licensed to rent. No criminal charges were filed, but survivors are suing Airbnb and the property owners. A trial is set to begin on March 22nd, 2027. In more local news this morning, with the help of the community, the Madison Reading Project has raised over $53,000 for its community book drive. This week, they tallied the numbers, and a new record is set of 4,171 books received from the public. With the help of donations, both book and monetary, this led to 16,607 books given to families during the community book drive. Madison Reading Project thanks everyone who donated and hosted wish-granting trees. And you can continue to support the Madison Reading Project by donating to its general fund through the end of the year. In your consumer news, the National Retail Federation says a record of nearly 159 million people are expected to shop today. The Saturday before Christmas is known as Super Saturday. That number is up more than 1 million from last year, beating a previous record set in 2022. Nearly half of people plan to shop both in stores and online. And a survey also finds 70% of people plan to shop the week immediately after Christmas. And if you're getting ready to travel for the holidays, this year the TSA wants to remind you to pack your patience and not your pots and pans. Agents say if you're bringing presents, to put them in gift bags or boxes so agents can inspect them without ripping the wrapping. And snow globes are popular, but if they're over 3.4 ounces, they're not allowed in your carry-on. Now, you might be surprised of how often passengers pack what they need to cook their holiday feast.
People actually fly with their own pots and pans frequently so that they can cook at their destination.
This is a prohibited item. More is about the weight of it. It can be used as a self-defense item. That's why it cannot go in the carry-on bag.
When items are stopped at the checkpoint, passengers have a choice to move them to a checked bag or abandon them. Whatever's left behind goes to the state to be auctioned. Online travel fraud is surging and accounting for $1 trillion of global financial losses. Holiday season, unfortunately, also means scammers are ramping up. Fraudsters impersonate airlines, hotels, and rental platforms. The FTC says organized foreign criminals stole $10 billion from Americans in 2024. That's up 66% from the prior year. Common travel scams are texts which appear to come from major airlines, directing customers to a fake number or link to rebook their travel. Now, you can avoid these scams by always visiting with official company websites. Don't click on links sent by text or email directing you to a website, and take caution when it comes to online ads, sponsored search results, or links posted on social media. If a travel company is unfamiliar, check sites like the Better Business Bureau so you can see others' comments and reviews. Still ahead, we're taking a look at the NORAD Santa Tracker. But before we head to break, if you have a little kid turning 3 soon, let us know so we can wish them a happy birthday and share their picture on TV. You're watching Weekend Mornings. Keep it here. We're back after the break.
Watching News 3 Now this morning. Moving forward.
Hey there, right, folks, out here on the WIC patio to give you a little weather update. I was out here just a bit ago, had a little bit of light freezing rain and a couple of ice pellets. But I want to emphasize as I look through the clouds, and if we can bring up radar 3000, a lot of what's trying to make it down to the ground is falling apart because the air is very, very dry. Could have some mixed precipitation trying to make it to the ground for areas over towards Evansville, over towards Janesville, over towards Whitewater. But once again, the very dry air in place here is evaporating a lot of what's trying to make it to the ground. And we have friends up in La Crosse that tune in between 8 and 9 o'clock, and not much in the way of snow or mixed precipitation off towards the north and towards the west, but just that mix a little bit possible this morning going into the afternoon. Much colder tomorrow morning and near 50 by Christmas. I'm going to break down the roller coaster temperature ride when I come back in a little while. Back to you in the studio. Michelle, Renee.
Thank you, Alex. Now, Amazon Books editorial director shared her favorite gift ideas, and there's something for everyone. For foodies, Good Things is a hot new cookbook, including personal stories about cooking as a labor of love. Theo of Golden is a big talker, especially for moms and grandmas. Theo's at the center of a mystery which will leave no dry eyes. And for the Swifties, on your gift list, Taylor Swift, all the songs. This takes a deep dive into every lyric. And as Santa gears up for his biggest night, America's armed forces are also bracing for a busy Christmas Eve. Each year, Air and Space Force teams handle thousands of calls from children wanting an update on the reindeer's route. CBS News' Gwen Baumgardner shares the history of the NORAD Santa Tracker.
The mission at Colorado Springs Peterson Space Force Base doesn't stop for the holidays.
24/7, 365 days a year, we're monitoring the skies of North America for any airborne threats.
And when Santa makes his annual trek, Colonel Jason White says they have the equipment to keep tabs on his journey.
We use ground-based radars, satellites, airborne military aircraft.
Crews even rely on infrared sensors to monitor Rudolph's iconic nose. The information from the North American Aerospace Defense Command is quickly declassified, allowing any child who calls the NORAD Santa Tracker hotline to find out Kris Kringle's next stop.
Merry Christmas!
The very first call came in 70 years ago after a newspaper misprinted Santa's phone number in this advertisement. The number actually belonged to an Air Force Operations Center.
The individual that answered that phone didn't want to disappoint the child on the other end and just went with it. And then it was turned into an annual reoccurring Track Santa operation ever since.
The tradition lives on through dozens of volunteers answering phones on Christmas Eve, delivering Santa updates with military precision to tens of thousands of callers.
They logged 380,000 calls last Christmas Eve, and then several million social media engagements, 32 million website views in that one day.
In recent years, the operation has expanded with an online Santa tracker and website translations in 9 languages, allowing even more children to take part in the holiday cheer. Gwen Baumgardner, CBS News, Los Angeles.
Right now on the Santa Tracker, we have a countdown for 3 days, 18 hours, 15 minutes, and 2 seconds. If you would like to dial up Santa, you can dial 877-HI-NORAD. Still ahead, Andrew Banstra brings us the new program record set by the Lady Badgers this week in the Final Four.
And winter starts at 9:03 Sunday morning, but when can we expect temperatures that are not so winter-like? I'm going to let you know when I come back after the commercial break. Tracking a little bit of mixed precipitation across parts of southern Wisconsin. Right now we got a mix of a little bit of flurry activity, some freezing rain, and a little bit of ice pellets. Just updating here right along I-94 from Lake Mills over towards Helenville, just south of Oconomowoc, Fort Atkinson. You may be sneaking in just a little bit on some of this activity in Whitewater and over towards Palmyra as well. But this is quickly moving off towards the east. We come back here into Dane County. When I was outside in the patio earlier in the newscast, had a couple of drops of freezing rain and a few ice pellets, but that was it. It's not even enough to really cause a glaze, which is good news. We don't need a glaze of any ice out there. We don't need any travel issues today, and we're not expecting significant travel issues. Got a cold front coming through up towards the Camp Douglas area, sweeping towards the south and towards the east. It'll be through by the time we get to the late morning hours and into the early afternoon hours, but these green arrows, those are strong northwest winds coming in, even though the sun will make its reappearance this afternoon going on into the evening hours. Temperatures out ahead of the front will do low to mid 30s in Madison, upper 20s in La Crosse, and our friends that also dial in between 8 and 9 o'clock will be in the teens today. Temperatures are going to fall because we got another Arctic blast on the way in to southern Wisconsin. Get a little nice weather, and then you got to trade it in for the Arctic weather. For Sunday morning, temperatures in the single digits above zero, and we're looking at wind chills from west to east right around -10 to -15 across all of southern Wisconsin and areas out towards La Crosse and Eau Claire and parts of northeast Iowa as well. Temperatures on Sunday in the 20s, near 30 off towards the west in Iowa, and that's where more warm air is going to come from. This is one day of Arctic blast on Sunday, because by the time we get to Monday, which is right after the start of winter, which is on Sunday at 9:03 in the morning. A couple snowflakes, maybe a little freezing drizzle. That transitions us to a warm period ahead. 40s in Madison, 50 by the time we get to Christmas. And as we move beyond that time frame, temperatures cool down just a touch. Back to normal. La Crosse, pretty much par for course here. Very similar, copy and paste really to this forecast. Warming on up throughout the week, melting of any snow that's out there, and then temperatures return to a little bit closer to normal by the end of the 10-day. Now, 9:03 tomorrow morning, mark your clocks here. Winter begins, official winter begins, even though we started off weeks ago with snow and cold. The good news, though, even though winter begins and even though it's the shortest day of the year, each day gets longer and longer and brighter and brighter and brighter as we head towards spring. I think we got a little sports up next.
The last time that Wisconsin men's basketball played Villanova, they knocked off the top-seeded reigning national champions in the 2017 NCAA tournament. The Wildcats looking to get revenge tonight. Bucky playing in Milwaukee for, get this, the 120th time ever. Early on, Nolan Winter was on a burner, starting the game 6 for 6 from the field. The big man was simply unconscious. And then later, it's Nick Boyd. He'd finished with 19 of his own, getting the crowd to go. Look at this, playing in the home state. You gotta get the people going. Bucky trailed by as many as 15 in this one, but would tie it with less than 2 minutes to go, forcing overtime. But in the free period, Villanova would not be stopped. The Badgers lose their second straight, 76-66, the final.
I learned a lot from this. As I told them, I mean, nobody's feeling sorry for you. We have to continue to get better. I've seen teams come through, way harder challenges.
It starts with myself, just call myself point guard and turn it over and inviting times. So, we can all reflect from this moment, but all we can do is, bounce back.
There are no two ways around it. The way that Wisconsin volleyball season ended, it was just heartbreaking. But let's celebrate the fact that this was a season no one will forget anytime soon. No one expected these Badgers to make this run. It was just through sheer determination that they shattered expectations and rose to the occasion. Even if they came up a few points shy of reaching the national title game, Mimi Collier leaves Madison with no regrets and a whole lot of pride.
And that's what this program is built on, just the grittiness behind it. And I think we all knew that. It was just about showing people. And I think in this tournament, we really did that. We came out, we busted the brackets, we did all the things. And I'm so grateful that this group was able to rise to the occasion on so many times. And just, remember that we did it and no one thought we were going to be here. And just, how proud I am of this team. And it's been so much fun to play with them.
Collier was a semifinalist but did not take home the National Player of the Year award. She was, however, named the best outside hitter in the country yesterday. In her lone year in Madison, she had 598 kills. That is a new Wisconsin program record. And that is your morning sports fix. Have a sensational Saturday.
You too, Andrew. Still ahead, we're sharing your morning motivation and a playlist pick from Nissa. Be like Nissa and send me a song to Mr. Quinn at WISCTV.com with the subject playlist pick. I'm talking to you folks at home. Tune in on weekend mornings to hear your song. We're back right after the break.
It's a marshmallow world in the winter. When the snow comes.
This is an artist I know.
Yes.
It's time.
Nissa chose this song because she says it's such a fun and underrated song for the holiday season, and it's one of those ones that you don't really hear very often, but we totally should be hearing it more often. So check out A Marshmallow World by Dean Martin, and be sure to send me your weekend playlist pick.
That is my genre right there. It makes me think of the late Grandma Harrington because she loved her Dean Martin, Judy Garland, Sammy Davis Jr., Frank Sinatra, and Bing, of course.
Yes, absolutely. Well, thank you, Nissa, for sending that in.
For sure.
And now to today's morning motivation from somebody unknown.
Competition makes us faster, but competition, or I should say collaboration thereof, makes us much, much better. Got to have that collaboration make good things happen.
Absolutely. So this is your encouragement to compete with yourself, be a better version of you from yesterday that you were, or be a better version of you today than you were yesterday. And as always, collaborate.
And as we're collaborating here, I'll finish us off here with a little bit of that weather. These are the few things you need to know. That light mix possible today, not expecting big travel issues. Much colder Sunday, warm by Christmas.
Thanks for watching.